You're gonna literally stop the episode there. What kind of cliffhanger is that? You're literally gonna stop the moment that Novak walks up and says "Nani kore." He's gonna come up there and ask questions, and you're gonna cut it off right there. What a crappy stopping point. Poor Oxy. He's gonna have to wait an entire week of sweating and wonder what's gonna happen to him. I don't think he's gonna remember. There's a side of me that thinks that he acknowledges who Oxy is, but he's not gonna place it. I think that was such a brief moment, and I think if I remember correctly, Oxy and Glass were shrouded, like they had a hood on or whatever. I don't think he's going to immediately know who they are, but he could. Again, I kind of wonder how much time is kind of spanned, but I wouldn't think it's going to be but a few months. This wasn't that long ago, but I think he's going to slightly place it. I think why he's questioning them is obviously they were bringing up astronomy. You don't bring up astronomy and researching astronomy without raising some massive red flags in front of him. And it could be an aspect of just kind of wanting to protect his daughter. It would be really cool if it turns into not so much that he's questioning them to get them, but he's questioning them to make sure that his daughter's not stepping out of line. And I think Oxy the entire time is going to be sweating, think that he's after him, and that's going to tip him off to something. You're looking really nervous. A person that does a lot of interrogation is going to be picking up on that nervousness. They're going to see that facial expression because they've seen it a lot. They've seen a lot of people that are hiding something, and so he knows how to pick up on it. He knows that body language. But we'll see. I'm not looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to it at all. It kind of makes me think the whole situation with Badeni at the beginning of the episode is a flag of that. Badeni was writing something and he said, I'll wait until later. And I think it's probably obviously him writing his entire publication, like what he's going to be writing. But I don't think that would be one thing where he'd go, oh, hold on a second. Let me finish this really quickly. It's going to be a long thing that he's going to be writing there. His report is going to be hella long. But I'm probably thinking it's probably a letter to the Southwest where he was saying that he wanted to go to, maybe somebody he knows down there. Either way, I think he was going to write something that he wanted to send off to help his next step, and he's not going to send it. I'm kind of wondering if the fact that he didn't write that letter is going to be a flag to his death. That in the end of all this, Novak's going to look into this and figure it out right here, and Oxy's going to survive, but Badeni's not. And again, it's going to get into my theory that I think that Oxy is going to go against Badeni's wishes and publicate it. Again, he said technically, I want you to burn whatever I don't publish myself. And I think that was more of an aspect of him not wanting somebody to publish it before it's done. He likes the truth. He doesn't want somebody publishing something that he did and it be wrong. Again, he said technically, I don't want to be a stepping stool for somebody else or stepping stone for somebody else, but it could be an aspect that he doesn't want it published too early. And Oxy might say, no, I still need to go out. The movement has happened. We've figured out the movement is happening. I want to publish this. I don't know. That letter is a massive flag. But yes, getting the episode proper. Yes, most of this episode was getting into the Inquisitors, which is Novak, bringing in some new recruits. And yes, a very interesting look into his character and how he sort of sees it as a job, but still shows that he does see it as important. There's multiple facets that we see of Novak in this episode. One is, yes, the obvious heartlessness. The idea that he goes in these rooms and does the interrogations without even flinching. He's done it for so damn long. This is something that he's used to. And it's a sad reality. He's so trained in his brain to just not care. And it sucks because there is sort of the other side of it, which does get into the idea that he does want to protect the order. And yes, you could probably say that a lot of this has to do with him protecting his daughter. He wants to protect the world that his daughter's in. And again, in the mindset of somebody in this time period, like the bishop was saying, the idea that we created order and some people want to destroy that. There's these these people out there that are being possessed by devils to break this order, and we have to protect that. And again, in Novak's mind, he's gonna agree with that. I gotta protect this world, protect the world that my daughter is in, and the order that has been created. I'm stating my hands back here in order to protect her future. That's where it's getting in with his character. And I've always kind of wondered if being a mercenary and having this favor of the bishop, that he didn't really truly believe it. But it does seem like he truly believes it, or at least how he's portraying himself to his, recruits, that yes, this is all about protecting this order and the truth that God has and fighting against the devils. But again, really unpleasant scene, of course, with the torture sequence. One of the individuals going up there and going to do it, the other person not being able to do it. And yes, that struggle, the two of them, two different perspectives really here, two different perspectives of people that kind of see this differently. One person wants to talk to them. The other person is, accepting the job. No, we got to do this. Like the bishop said, we have to do this. We have to keep order. We got to push ourselves to actually do this. It was a cool little conflict between the two of them, despite the fact that it was extremely uncomfortable. The manga kind of shows a bit more. I mean, you get a sense of what is happening in the anime, but no, that finger popped like a grape. You can get it from the anime, but yeah, that thumb popped like a grape. That was, oof, very unpleasant, very unpleasant. And the sucky thing about that whole situation is it gets in that whole gray area there where, again, like I keep saying before, you want to see the perspective of somebody in this world, that this is something they're doing that they feel, that these individuals feel is the right thing to do. Typically with a lot of bad people, they believe they're in the right. These people believe they're in the right. What sucks here is with this particular woman, it's not like she's going around and, telling people to not believe in the Bible or something like that, to not believe in God. This is somebody who specifically just wanted to help their brother. My brother's ill, and they said I can get medicine from this group, this black mass. They said that if I go there, I can get medicine. It wasn't that she believed in what they were doing. She just wanted the medicine. I wanted to protect and save my brother. And that's where it gets in that really unsettling bad area that she is now having to out all these people, her neighbor and everything, just to not get another finger pop like a grape. And yes, eventually probably killed. It sucks. It was extremely uncomfortable. And it's, again, it doesn't make it right if it was another situation, but that makes it even worse. It makes it even worse. And yes, I think that's a conflict that technically this one individual, this one recruit is having, is we could have just talked. God would have helped us. We should have just talked. And Novak's like, no, I've been through it a million times. They'll lie and lie and lie and lie. These devils, they're just going to keep lying until they get what they want. It's never going to work. This is always the end result. And if you want to go home early, it's like it's punching out. If you want to go home early, if you want to get the job done quickly, you got to start kind of tapping that away from your mind. There was a little bit of a conflict in there as well, at least hinting towards a bigger plot line that the bishop's son shows up. And yes, they're hiding the fact that he's not celibate and that it's all like just in the public image that he is celibate. But the bishop's son, really nasty about the bishop, doesn't like him. He's an idiot. He's wasting all the money on these inquisitors. He really kind of showing how he sees it as a business and functioning it and everything differently than what his father does. And yes, getting into a little bit more on how his father seems to be very obsessed with the aspect of astronomy. And I'm kind of curious if this is hinting at how Novak knows him. That because he says they keep bringing up that this bishop seems to have some sort of connection with Novak. He seems to know him, and it could be through his younger years researching astronomy. This is something that stuck with him. It seems to bother him a lot. Novak puts it in the idea of somebody being young and it kind of getting stuck in your head, and thus it's something that they just especially kind of get stuck on. But I'm very curious about that. I'm very curious if it's something that he's experienced himself with dealing with heretical thoughts or something like that. Maybe somebody that he knows that was into astronomy and they got into heretical thoughts and ended up going downhill. It's very curious why that is a sticking point. And again, I'm thinking with that connecting to his knowing Novak and them having a special relationship, I'm wondering if it's through that. I wonder if it all ties together. But yeah, just the business talk is crazy. Like, yeah, you'll get over the whole torturing thing. But the worst thing is the paperwork. Yeah, that's the thing that you never get over. It's just kind of like, that disconnection there is so unfortunate. But yeah, this whole beginning segment concludes with, yes, Novak being called off for a job by the bishop himself. The bishop himself has called him to go somewhere. And again, I think that's going to be initially Piast. Piast dying. He's going to be sent over there to kind of investigate it. I'm kind of curious if it has anything to do with the book that Grabowski has found, because I don't think they're going to send an Inquisitor just because Piast died. It's probably going to be something else that they found. Maybe when his passing, they may be looking into if any wrongdoing was done, and then they end up finding that information. But I'm kind of curious if it'll end up being Grabowski. And again, based on the fact that we've now established that the bishop seems to have a thing about astronomy, he's probably going to end up sending Novak because he probably trusts him to do that stuff. And it could all just turn into the aspect of him running into Badeni and, Oxy is all because of Jolenta. He was there and he goes and checks out Jolenta. But he did say something to the effect that he was told that she was there and that's why he came over there. I kind of wonder that because it sort of it gave this impression that he's away from her a lot. So why is this the one time he just happens to go look for her? It doesn't give me a feeling like they're constantly together. I don't know. It could be something else in there. Again, technically at the end, he did mention the idea that I'm still on the job. And again, that could be because he just now met them and they're talking about astronomy and he always likes looking at that stuff. He kind of insinuates that they don't really do this kind of stuff unless there is like evidence. Like they have to get the stuff in order first before they do this stuff. And then yes, the paperwork they have to put together afterwards is important. I don't know. We'll see. But yes, we get a little fun little moment with Oxy and Badeni and Jolenta coming together. Him mentioning the fact that, yes, his stuff is done, that he's planning on leaving, which, again, might be another flag in the idea that it's all ready to go, and I'm going to get the hell out of here. You're not getting away, dude. He's apparently going to go down to the Southwest. He's going to go do his work there. He's leaving the two of them behind. He's ready to do this kind of stuff. And again, I think that in the letter, I'm pretty darn convinced at this point Badeni's dead. Or at least he's going to be captured next episode. I don't think he's getting away to go do his research and leave everybody behind. We got a little bit more into Jolenta, what she's currently doing in that set. Colby apparently has been promoted. I don't think he took over Piaf's position, but I think he probably did get put up pretty high. But it did confirm in this episode that, yes, Jolenta is still working for him, which is kind of a bummer. But at the same time, it seems to be her thought process that that's the way that she can get ahead. And if she can get ahead far enough that she can... It just seems like an aspect of not so much that a lot of us think in how Colby has wronged her and that she's going to go out on her own, but more of a thing of her kind of keeping to what she's already established. I'm doing this. It's working out. Just keep your head down, keep pushing forward, and eventually I can have that dream of somebody reading my work. Basically going with what Piaf kind of opened the door to, even though unfortunately he passed away right afterwards, that somebody might actually accept her work. Something that she done can actually get published. Yes, Oxy's talking about going off somewhere and getting another job, saving up his money, going to the university and doing this dream that he has. And again, having the moment with Badeni's like, huh? again, Badeni's like, huh? It sucks that they didn't reveal what Badeni found in Oxy's writing. But again, that could open the door to, if something happens to Badeni, Oxy has a full write down of what's happened. And he can help whoever is next know how to navigate what Badeni's done, because he's been keeping track of everything that Badeni and them have been doing, that he does have sort of an outline to give to somebody else. And again, I think because of how Badeni has been reading a lot of his work, I think the thing that's going to be about Oxy is that he's very meticulous and detailed about his writing. And that's probably what Badeni has been picking up and has been enjoying reading, is how thorough he is. We'll see, though. Again, everything's kind of lining up that something's happened to Badeni, which sucks because I do find his character extremely fascinating. But yes, that's when Novak's father finally shows up. And yes, Oxy immediately recognizes him like, oh, damn, it's done. I'm done for. It's over. He doesn't bring it up, though. But no, the entire conversation, like I mentioned earlier, Badeni just sticking his foot right in his mouth. The fact that Jolenta, again, doesn't know what her father does the entire time, Badeni is just going into details about how, yeah, your daughter has helped us out with our research. She's so brilliant. She's super meticulous about everything. The entire time, Novak's just puffing up, hearing all his good things about his daughter. He just, again, even though I think, again, right here, he's working, there is still this idea that the entire time, one of two things. I mean, either way, I think it still kind of works out. He's still loves hearing about how great his daughter is. That stuff is still going to hit him as a father, hearing all his good things about what my daughter's doing. But at the same time, there is that other aspect of, is he playing into it and just playing dumb in front of them? Oh yeah, thank you so much for telling me about the daughter. Astronomy? Oh, that's great. I've never heard of this kind of thing before. Can you tell me more? Just playing dumb until he can get some information out of them. But again, I feel like Oxy's right next to Badeni going, stop putting a foot in your mouth. Shut up. I almost feel like nudge him. Stop talking. But I guess that technically plays in Oxy's character. He's not going to speak up. And again, he's terrified of this guy. He's just trying to keep his mouth shut. He's just terrified of this guy. I don't know. If I was him, I probably would have got up and tried to walk out the door. But I think that would have been a surefire sign to Novak to chase him down. But yeah, the scene outside. And again, this stupid cliffhanger. They go outside. Oxy's just about to tell him who this dude is and how much of that foot he put in his mouth. And then, yeah, the cut to black and then hearing Novak's voice. I was like, damn. They know how to portray these scenes in this adaptation. I just love it. Just that silence, dark. Hey, can I talk to you for a minute? It's oh, dude, absolute gut punch the moment that happened. Walking up there, I'm also an inquisitor, puts the hand on the the sword, which kind of sucks because catching up on the manga to this point, he doesn't put his hand on his sword. So I'm curious why the anime is, I obviously for cliffhanger, they're trying to ramp it up a bit there, but very curious as to how differently portrayed that might actually handle the next scene. So I'm super excited to see what happens, but there's a thought of me that I think that he might just be there to ask Badeni, what his daughter is researching. But again, he said he's on the job. He's talking about Inquisitor stuff. Right now, in front of Oxy and Badeni, he's on a job. This is something about heretics. And that could just be simply the fact that he is going to ask Badeni about his relationship with Piast. Like they found something that connects him to Piast. And again, technically, my connection that I'm having here so far right now is that the reason the bishop sent Novak is because Grabowski found Piast's book and submitted it as heretical thought, and now he's looking into it. And it could have Badeni and Oxy's name in that book. He could put something in there about Badeni helping him find something, discover the thing about Venus or whatever. It could be specifically that he's just looking into that. And this has nothing to do with anything else. And again, that was kind of my theory there, that it wasn't going to be so much that Novak comes there to come after Badeni, but it's going to be something through Piast, through Grabowski, to Badeni. And Badeni is going to panic thinking it's about him. We'll see, though. Anyways, that's my thoughts on episode 11 of Orb. It's ramping up. I'm super hyped for next week. It's one of those things where I'm like, actually, not really. I'm excited, but I'm not. I'm not really interested to see how this is going to turn out. That's the interesting thing that kind of brings up with Badeni. If he does get captured, could Novak really make him break? Because again, Badeni has put himself through a lot of pain. He's been put through a lot of pain for stepping out of line and even going so far as to causing himself the pain. So I'd be curious if Novak could even make him break. Again, this is somebody that's very, very skilled. He's used to people, but is he used to somebody who's inflicted so much pain upon himself? I'd be very curious about that. But anyways, that's my thoughts on the episode. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, hit the like button down below. Until next time, y'all take care.